Pahalgam terror attack, a nation in mourning and a region on the brink. 1. The attack, a day of horror in Pahalgam. On 22 April 2025, Basaran Valley near Pahalgam, a serene tourist destination in Jammu and Kashmir, became the site of a horrific terrorist attack. At approximately 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 5 armed assailants ambushed a group of tourists, opening fire indiscriminately. The victims, predominantly Hindu tourists from various parts of India, were targeted based on their religious identities. Among the 26 confirmed dead were 24 Hindus, 1 Christian, and 1 local Muslim guide. Over 20 others sustained injuries, many critically. Eyewitnesses recounted scenes of chaos as locals and tourists scrambled for safety amidst the gunfire. The attackers, believed to be affiliated with the Resistance Front, TRF, initially claimed responsibility but later retracted, citing a cyber intrusion. 2. TRF's role and alleged ties to Lashkar-e-Taiba. The Resistance Front, TRF, a relatively obscure militant group founded in 2019, has been active in Jammu and Kashmir, claiming responsibility for various attacks. Initially, TRF presented itself as a local resistance movement. However, subsequent investigations have revealed its connections to Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, a Pakistan-based terrorist organization responsible for numerous attacks in India. Both groups share ideological similarities and operational tactics, leading to concerns about TRF acting as a proxy for LET in the region. The Pahalgam attack has brought TRF into the international spotlight, raising questions about the extent of LET's involvement in orchestrating attacks through proxy groups. 3. Intelligence and security failures. Despite prior intelligence warnings about potential terrorist activities in the region, security forces were ill-prepared to prevent the attack. Reports indicate that a terrorist based in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir had made a suggestive remark hinting at the attack days before its occurrence. However, these warnings were not acted upon effectively. The response from security forces was criticized as inadequate, with delayed and insufficient on-ground presence to protect civilians. This incident underscores significant gaps in intelligence implementation and operational readiness when faced with real-time threats. 4. Political and diplomatic fallout. In the aftermath of the attack, India held Pakistan responsible, citing alleged cross-border terrorist links. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned the attack, vowing to bring the perpetrators to justice. The Indian government took several retaliatory measures, including suspending the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty and expelling Pakistani diplomats. Pakistan denied involvement and criticized India's actions, calling the suspension of the treaty an act of war. In response, Pakistan closed its airspace to Indian flights and suspended trade relations. The diplomatic crisis escalated further as both countries downgraded their diplomatic ties. 5. Suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty. On 23 April 2025, India announced the immediate suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty with Pakistan, halting data sharing and potentially allowing for increased water usage from the western rivers. This treaty, brokered by the World Bank and signed in 1960, governs the distribution of water from the Indus River system. It allots India the eastern rivers, Sutlej, Beas, Ravi, and Pakistan the western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab. Pakistan, highly reliant on this water for agriculture and hydropower, fears India's move could threaten its irrigation-based crops and food security, especially amid current climate-induced water shortages. 6. Suspension of the Shimla Agreement. Following India's suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty, Pakistan announced the suspension of the 1972 Shimla Agreement on 24 April 2025. This peace treaty, signed between India and Pakistan, aimed at normalizing bilateral relations and resolving disputes peacefully. Pakistan's suspension of the agreement signifies a breakdown in diplomatic channels and raises concerns about the future of peaceful dialogue between the two nations. 7. Escalation along the line of control. In the days following the attack, tensions escalated along the line of control, LOC, between India and Pakistan. Pakistani troops initiated unprovoked firing across the LOC, targeting multiple Indian posts in the Poonch and Kupwara districts. This marked the most extensive cross-border exchange in 4 years, threatening the February 2021 ceasefire agreement. India responded swiftly and effectively to the violations, but the situation remains volatile, with both sides on high alert. 8. Eyewitness accounts and survivor testimonies. The Pahalgam attack was marked by its terrifying religious overtones, with the terrorists intentionally targeting non-Muslim tourists, particularly Hindus. Survivors of the attack have shared harrowing accounts of how the attackers conducted religious checks before executing their victims. As the terrorists stormed the area, they ordered the tourists to identify their religion. Those who were found to be non-Muslim, including Hindu men and a Christian tourist, were shot at point-blank range. Eyewitnesses reported that the terrorists specifically targeted Hindu men, further emphasizing the religious nature of the attack. A Christian tourist, who was among the group, lost his life alongside several Hindu men, with some survivors recalling the brutal nature of these executions. The women and children were spared from immediate harm. One survivor, a woman, recalled begging the terrorists to shoot her as well, stating that she could not live with the pain of witnessing such brutality. However, the terrorists ordered her to go back and inform her countrymen and India's leader, Narendra Modi, of what had happened. This chilling exchange, coupled with the deliberate targeting of men and religious affiliations, underscores the highly charged and divisive nature of the attack. In total, the attackers executed 24 Hindu men and 1 Christian man, a stark reflection of their religious motivations. Survivors, including women and children, were forced to watch the execution of their loved ones, leaving them traumatized for life. The incident has left a lasting mark on the affected families, highlighting the extent to which extremist ideologies have seeped into everyday life. This brutal attack, rooted in religious extremism, has reignited fears about the vulnerability of tourists, especially non-Muslim tourists, in the region. The survivors, while physically safe, will forever carry the psychological scars of witnessing the merciless targeting of their loved ones based on their faith. 9. Media and public response. The media's coverage of the Pahalgam attack has been extensive, with outlets providing real-time updates and in-depth analysis of the incident's implications. Public response has been one of shock and outrage, with citizens across India expressing solidarity with the victims and demanding justice. Social media platforms have been flooded with messages condemning the attack and calls for stronger measures to combat terrorism. The incident has reignited debates about national security policies and the effectiveness of counter-terrorism strategies. 10. A call for national unity and counteraction. In the wake of the attack, leaders from various political parties have called for national unity in the fight against terrorism. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized the need for collective action and resilience, urging citizens to stand together in the face of adversity. Civil society organizations have organized candlelight vigils and peace marches to honor the victims and promote messages of harmony and coexistence. These efforts aim to counteract divisive narratives and foster a sense of shared responsibility in building a peaceful and secure nation. Conclusion: a nation in mourning and a region on the brink. The Pahalgam terror attack has left a nation in mourning and pushed a region to the brink of conflict. The loss of 26 innocent lives has sparked outrage and demands for justice, while the subsequent diplomatic and military escalations have heightened fears of a broader confrontation between two nuclear-armed neighbors. As the situation continues to evolve, the international community watches closely, hoping for restraint and a return to dialogue. However, the path to peace remains uncertain, and the scars of this tragedy may take years to heal.